Hi. Okay, guys. Today we're going to learn about Palo Santo. It's a sacred ceremonial incense. It's very important. Its Latin name is called Bracera graviolis, which literally means bag of oil. And the Spanish name for it is Palo Santo, which means holy wood or wood of the saints. Okay, so it is native to Peru. It flourishes in the Amazon. It just grows all over the South American rainforest. Spanish monks discovered it, and they say it has a very strong spirit, a very wise spirit. And when they do cleansings on people, they say they let the spirit work its own magic because the spirit knows where to heal the receiver. So it has to be respected. It is a very important tree, and the way you cultivate it is you have to wait for it to have a natural occurring death. So the tree, and you're not, it's illegal to cut them down. You can't cut them down, they're sacred. So if they catch you doing it in the rainforest, in the Amazon, you're a lot of trouble. So what happens is it has to naturally fall. Okay, and then what's sought after about this specific tree is that the tree has, because of the spirit, it's what's inside of it that it's sought after for. So when the tree naturally dies and it falls to the ground, you have to wait about 7 years for the oils to come out, to cultivate it, to cut it for the Palo Santo, so you can burn it as an incense. They say the most beautiful about the thing about the tree is that, the shamans say, is that what other tree do you know that gives life? Because it heals. So they say there's no other tree that could do that. You know, this tree might die and we resurrect it, basically. But when we take it and we burn it and we turn the form of it into spirit, it basically goes into the next person and enlightens them, and it helps them. So it has to fall. You have to wait the 7 years to cultivate it because of the oils. That's when the oils really kind of flourish. Now, when it falls, the shamans say the most amazing pieces to cut are the ones that aren't touching the ground, because they've been washed by the rains and they've been healed by the sun, and they're closest to the heavens. So when you cut them, you know, obviously not, you don't know sometimes where they come from, because obviously we don't live there, we don't know what parts. But when you cut them, you want the branches that are off the ground, that never touch the earth, because, you know, you want to be as high as you could be, as close to the gods as you can possibly get. And they say that that brings the most spiritual experience to each person. And the interesting thing about this particular tree is they grow in harems. So it's usually, and they have males and females. This is the craziest thing. So Palo Santo trees, there's always one male and usually 8 females around the one male. They grow in an actual harem. So it's him with his 8 wives. And the funny thing is he can live to be up to 200 years old, and the females only live about 40 or 50 years. Crazy, right? Okay, not only that, but you can tell the difference in the wood, because the females is yellow and heavy, and then the male's wood is light white, like whitish, and very light and hollow. But they say the spirit of the tree lives in the wood. So when you burn the wood, okay, not all people love the smell of the wood. And this is what they say. If you don't like the smell of the wood, well, if you like the smell of the wood, let's say that you are more spiritual and emotionally pure. If you don't like it, They say, don't worry. Eventually you will, the more the plant cleanses you and the more closer to spirituality you get. When you become extremely cleansed, you will start to enjoy the aroma. It will become pleasant to you. So basically, demons, your demons don't like the smell of it. Which you have to understand something. I've had somebody just messaged me and said, people told me that sage was the devil's herb and this and that. Well, let me tell you something about herbs, okay, and plants. When an exorcism is performed, they use frankincense and myrrh, okay? There are herbs that are always used in ceremonial rituals. I don't care what religion you are, where you're from. Buddhists burn incense. It's just, there's a reason, because smoke signifies spirit. And it helps to cleanse spirit. And it helps to take the heaviness away. So, again, they say if you don't like it, don't worry, eventually you will. That's once you're cleansed and you have attained a level of spirituality and become enlightened. And being enlightened, that changes everything. It makes you see kind of everything from a bird's eye view. You get to see it all. Sometimes unfortunately, sometimes fortunately. They say that it brings balance to your life. So it brings you a sense of peace and harmony. And I did take a few notes, so I want to see if I'm forgetting to tell you anything. They say the spirit is very generous and it has certain healing powers, and it does enhance and help meditation because it actually has a psychoactive drug, and it kind of gives you like a euphoric experience. It's also known to be an analgesic, a diuretic, an expectorant, an insecticide, and an aphrodisiac. It helps asthma, headaches, anxiety, depression, and inflammation. And it's a natural remedy for colds and flu. So I didn't want to forget to tell you those things because those are important. So let's see what else. Okay. So I did tell you that the shamans believe that the trees carry a wisdom because they are old trees and they've seen a lot. And can you imagine if you were around for 200 years? And basically the male is connected to all the females, so he feeds them in the information that he knows, which is, it's crazy because they do say that trees talk to each other. Even when one tree dies, they say, or is dying or gets sick, the other trees surrounding it will send it healing powers. They'll send it medicine so it can help. They can help to heal it because trees kind of become part of a pack, and they look out for one another, which is so divine. I think that that's amazing. Even trees know enough to look out for one another and help heal one another, which is crazy to me. I don't know what the hell happened to humans, but yeah, trees are amazing, and they do hold a wisdom, and they do hold healing powers. So, what else was I supposed to tell you? I don't know. I think I covered everything. So basically, I think now that we need to talk about when you light it. So I'm going to get these, okay? Okay. And I'm going to grab this, okay? So, actually, I'm going to show you on an older one that I have because it'll probably be easier to lit. But I'll show you what they look like. And so this would be Palo Santo. Okay, you see the wood, the white wood here, underneath all that? That's Palo Santo. You could see the wood here. You see the white wood? Okay. So I keep it with a piece of selenite in a box, sealed, so it stays fresh. Not, I mean, it's obviously it's dried, right? We all know it's dried, but I don't want it to absorb energies around it in the air, in the room. So I kind of like it to keep its fresh smell because it has a beautiful lemony, citrusy smell. And to some people, yeah, it's very pleasant. I love it. I think it smells great. And it's very, it's feminine. I think it's feminine. To me, it's very feminine, and it's light. And so when you light them, you're supposed to hold them at a 45-degree angle. And you're supposed to hold it actually under candle. So I should probably get a candle. So hang on, let me grab this. Okay. All right, I'm going to grab this because they say it's the best way to do it. Okay. So we're going to grab a candle. And we're going to hold this above it at a 45-degree angle until it lights. So what's going to happen is it's going to set a flame to it. It should. Hear the rain in the background? So relaxing, isn't it? It's like trickling. Okay, so let's hope it lights. These last for such a long time. They're so wonderful. When I'm done and they get low, I throw them in my cauldron because I burn a lot of herbs in there. Different ceremonial herbs for different purposes. So sometimes even at the end of a sage, I throw it in there too. And then I put, you know, the little pieces of charcoal from the hookahs? I throw a little piece of charcoal in there and just let it put the smoke into the air because it really does cleanse the house. Okay, you see how it's really starting to light now? It's really getting good, right? It would be, you would want to use a candle. You don't really want to use a lighter because if you do that, you're going to be standing there all day. It probably could explode. I wouldn't do that. Okay. So you see, I keep breathing on it. Okay. So you see it like this, how it goes like this, right? If it's just lit like that, you're supposed to turn the flame so it goes everywhere. Mine is a little older and really well, kind of burnt and, going. So we're going to let it go. And then you would do the same thing that you would do with the sage. You would go through the house. Some people like to start with Palo Santo at the front door. I would always say if you're going to start at the front door, then you have to have a back door to your house that you could push the energy out of. Because, or, you know, I like to say goodbye to it. That's my thing. And you have to ask the holy saints of the wood, the holy wood, to grant you cleansing power. Because you have to respect it. So you basically have to ask its permission. It's not like a spell. You're honoring something sacred when you do this. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's very holy. And I think it's more powerful than sage. And I'm going to tell you why. And a lot of people don't know this. There's a very dark form of magic. It's called palo. Okay? I believe if somebody puts it on you, the only thing that could take it off is Palo Santo. And I'm telling you this because I know things. So this is what's going to get demons gone. Demons that are attached to you. That, you know, curses people put on you. Bad curses. I believe that this is one incense that knows how to do what it's supposed to do. It has its own mind. And we'll talk later on. I'll do something else to kind of tell you the difference between Palo Santo and sage and other herbs and why they are the way they are and why they do what they do. Because everything has... plants have like a masculine or a feminine counterpart. So either, you know, roses would be feminine and I believe it's bay leaves are masculine and I believe they come from Mars. Anyway, everything has a planet and it has, you know, a sexual orientation because they have to do something. And then, you know, so something might be connected to the sun. So, you know, that's a hot plant. You know, you could do certain things with it. You know, some are connected to the moon. So you know that the moon is calming and it's relaxing. So you know that that's going to give you a certain feel. So they all are connected to something. You know, so when people tell you astrology and all those things, they're not real. Then why do we connect and give an energy and a planet to everything? It just, there's so much. It's just, it's so intense. And if people really knew what they were talking about and they really knew how everything intertwined, you know, I could debate people forever on it. Sometimes I give up and I can't even speak to them because they don't know what, it's not, okay. The same way you have a map of the earth, we have a map of the sky. But that's okay. You know, you believe what you want. But anyways, things are connected. And the reason they're connected is because plants have their own mood and their personality. And we know that. I mean, there are factual things that happen. Like when the moon is full, we know the police department gets more calls than any other night because the moon makes people crazy. That's why they have fairy tales of werewolves coming out when there's a full moon, because people turn into beasts. So they don't make up fairy tales just because. They make up things because they didn't know how to talk about them years and years and years and centuries ago. So what they did is they attached a fairy tale to it to try to get people to understand this is why when the full moon is out, let's give them, you know, a scenario that humans turn into werewolves. Well, they don't really turn into werewolves. They just turn into maniacs. So those little things, you know, and then there's always something that's bigger than something else. So, you know, one planet could be bigger than another planet, or one planet could have more pull, or one planet can have more power. It just depends on what the planet is. So that's how you also determine parts of who you are, because that's where the planets are in the sky at the moment, in the time of your birth. So, you know, everything is attached in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, I never want you to misunderstand the uses for certain things, because extensive research will end up showing you why the world is the way it is, why these things exist, what, you know, everything has something. And remember when we were little kids and the teacher used to say, you know, here's the chart and who's at the top of the chart, because everything has something that eats something else. And there's always something bigger than something else, and always something smaller than something else, and more powerful than something else. So herbs are medicines, whether they're ingestible or whether you burn them. It's all going to serve a purpose. If you say and you pray, name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, you are the spirit. You have spirit. You have soul. And if there's something that's going to calm your soul, and it's going to ease your soul, and it's going to make you have less anxiety, it's going to be something that you can smell. It's going to be something that you take in. All your senses are connected. Sometimes when you hear loud music, say it's heavy metal music, and you hear that loud music, and it starts to give you anxiety. Because there's times I love it, I want to bang my fucking head, and then there's times I'm like, oh, I feel like my head's going to fucking explode. Put on some fucking Mozart. But those things that make you feel out of control and not grounded. Sight, say you witness something horrible, a horrible car accident. Those are traumatic experiences that causes trauma in you. So on some level, it affects your soul, on some level. So you have visual, you have hearing, so that would be the music. You know, say you taste something and it's horrible, you never want to eat that again. Say you have a certain liquor, you never want to drink it again. Every time you smell it, you want to throw up. All your senses are connected to your brain. So everything that you do has an effect on your brain, right? You smell something, you taste something, you hear something. Well, if it all goes to the same place, what do you think would happen if you smelled a sacred ceremonial incense? It would go somewhere in the brain. Where do you think it goes in the brain? Your pineal gland, right? That would be your third eye. Your third eye is your pineal gland. And what do you want to do? You want to keep your pineal gland grounded, centered, and you want to keep it at ease, and you want to keep it cleansed and open. So cleansing it, you'll have to, that's a whole nother talk about no fluorides and what kind of foods to eat and everything else. That's, you'll have to, that's a whole nother lesson. It's a hard one. Okay, but anyways, going back to this, if you could touch each sense and ground each sense in a different way to open up your pineal gland, you would do it, right? Because smelling something is one easy way that's going to cleanse your spirit. And that's what you want to keep your spirit cleansed, your body cleansed, your energy cleansed. All those things combined make up the human. You are Father, Son, Holy Spirit, body, soul, spirit. You're all connected, just like it's all connected. Because if you believe that when you die, your spirit leaves, then why wouldn't you cleanse your spirit every now and again? And if you know your spirit could get attached things to it, like I said earlier, in an exorcism, they will use frankincense and myrrh. The same herb they gave to baby Jesus, people. Okay? If you believe in that, I'm just saying not everybody does. I have Jewish friends, so I have lots of friends. But if you believe in that particular story, that, I know so many little tidbits about religion, so I'm not saying I believe in one thing or the other, but I am saying that this is one version of one story that somebody told. And that version entails the three kings bringing frankincense and myrrh to baby Jesus. Now, wouldn't it be, why is it a gift? Why is it a gift that you would give to God's child? Why is it so important, right? Why? Why would it be so important? So why wouldn't it be so important to use it during an exorcism? So why would you only use frankincense and myrrh? Why would anybody think that those are the only two herbs in the entire world that serve a purpose, right? A soul purpose. And you would give it to a God, and it would perform an exorcism. So that has a spiritual soul purpose. Well, why would you think that that's the only one? And why, if God grew these materials from the ground for you, and he created heaven and earth, and you believe in that also, why would you ever think any devil is attached to it? You can't be that stupid. But saying anybody who gives you that advice, they can't be all mentally clear, because anything that comes up from the ground is by God's hand. It's not by man's hand. It's by God's hand. So if he created heaven and earth, he created that. Any herb. So did you think he created things without a purpose? He created you, didn't he? Do you have a purpose? What is your purpose? Do you think he just created you just so, poof, I just created this person and they're just here just because? Everybody has a purpose. Everybody is connected. And the best way to keep you good while you're here in this plane, on this level, to keep your soul good, cleanse it once in a while. Just fucking cleanse it. Maybe half of you will be better people for it. I'm hoping. But it can't do anything but good. So why wouldn't you do it? It's the simplest thing in the world. Just once in a while, get down spiritually and do something good for spirit. I know so many of you question these things, and then you think, oh, I can't be spiritual, but all of us have a spirit. We all have a soul. So you have to figure out a couple things along the lines in this world of how to take care of your soul. You do a lot of shit for your body, right? You go to the fucking gym, you work out every day because you want to be so beautiful and so great because you're so fucking vain. Well, let's look inside once in a while. Let's look inside and cleanse there. Start there. And then you'll realize a lot more shit. You really will. I swear it. I promise you. You'll see a lot of things very clearly. And there'll be a lot of self-reflecting. And some people don't like to self-reflect. So a lot of people, like they say, they might not enjoy the scent of this, but let it wash away your demons. Because some of you are carrying around a lot of heavy baggage. Even heavy baggage other people put on you. Get rid of it. Cleanse it. Disattach it from yourself. Things will attach to your spirit. This is how people become possessed and shit like that, because something attaches itself to their spirit. So if you think that there's not smaller things than the devil himself that's going to attach itself to you every day on a daily basis, you are very wrong. There are weaker spirits that will always go home with you. Get them the fuck out of your front door. Say goodbye to them. Cleanse yourself. I promise you it will benefit you on a whole nother level, that you will be like, wow, that felt different. And you will be the better person for it. I promise you that much. And what does it cost? $8 to cleanse yourself? And it lasts forever? Like, it really lasts for months? Why wouldn't you do that? It's just, it shouldn't even be a second thought to some of you. You need to get down with your own spirit. When people say spiritual, it's because they are reflecting. They are self-reflecting, and they are going deep inside. And they are making things better. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing, because you should start with yourself to make yourself 100. Why would you want to be any less than 100? Every day, for every person that you share a space with. Do you want to be an asshole? No, you don't. You want to be a better person. Even I know sometimes I'm snippy because I wish people would get things that they don't get all the time. And I'm stern about those things. But you know, it takes a lot of self-reflecting, and I believe that sometimes these herbs and these grounding materials help you. Grounding is a really good thing, because it really helps you see that we're all human, we're all people, we all put 2 feet on the ground every morning. You know, it's just one life. Don't you want to live it being kind and happy and not fighting with people and not screaming and not walking through life and people say, wow, he's a dick, you know, like, or she's a bitch. I mean, you know, don't you want people to remember you saying that you did something good and that you were kind and, you know, helpful or something? Don't carry demons around with you, because they don't make you a good person. They make you do and say bad things and be a bad person. And sometimes people will do things and go, and I don't really know why I did it and I regret it, because sometimes a bad spirit will push you in the direction to go and do something you normally would never, ever do. I'm sure some of you have done things and you're like, I can't believe I did that. Or why did I do that? Or, you know, why was I with that guy? Or why did I say that to that girl last night? And you really think to yourself, wow, I was such a jerk. Sometimes it's just not you. It's just something speaking through you that's pushing you to say those terrible things. Regret comes with understanding that that wasn't you. And then you have to do something about it. So I just want you guys to hear these words and listen to these videos, and I hope you take something away from it, because I can have all the knowledge in the world, but what's it any good if I don't share it with anybody and I don't tell anybody about the things that I know and why I know the things I know and why they should do these things? Because so many people will just not do it because somebody else said it was something bad. And you can't constantly follow the crowd. You have to think for yourself, and you have to wonder why holy people do these things that they do, and why these things are placed on this earth for us. They're here for a reason. Every plant is a medicine for some ailment. Did you think some of them weren't spiritual? Okay, anyways, I hope you have a good night. I hope this was really informative for you, and I hope you take something away from this video. Okay, have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.